Shelly Gray, can you please get this party started?
Drivers, start your engines!
Thomas Automotive pace car will escape to the safety of pit road. Trevor Knowles and Tate Fogelman will lead them down to the KRC Power Steering restart zone. And Stacy Bowman from Thomas waves the green flag, and we are off and racing, and they've already scattered over in turn one. One driver looked like may have spun the tires or missed a shift. We're away, free and clear, and into turn number 3. It is Trevor Knowles and Tate Fogelman leaning on one another as they work their way off of turn 4. Lap number 1 at Jennerstown is going to be led by Tate Fogelman by 4 1/1000ths of a second. Toby Grinowitz being issued a penalty from race control for passing to the inside before the start-finish line. Tough break for the Texas driver as his night's going to ultimately be over before it starts. Oh, problems! Trevor Knowles hard in the wall, a right front tire or something appeared to go down. A massive impact in turn number 3. Good to see him moving around in the car, frustrated and dejected. But Trevor Knowles, mercy me, that was large. Time being, and there is the leader, Bubba Pollard. 14 laps separating him from $20,000, and he's got to get through this first, and nearly ended up taking out the right side of the race car. Thought Jeff Batten was going to zig. Jeff Batten zagged, and Bubba Pollard, a heads-up move, just about ended his race there with a misfortune with a slower car. But Bubba Pollard, proving the veteran that he is, guys, that was close. Bubba Pollard, 1/2 mile separating himself from victory in the inaugural Thomas Automotive 300. He led multiple times over the course of the night, and when the money was on the line, he checked out through turns 3 and 4. Bubba Pollard will win his second consecutive Solid Rock Cars Tour win. Paying this one will pay $20,000 in the Thomas Automotive American Freedom 300. Pollard to Edelbrock Victory Lane, Sammy Smith, Jake Garcia, Tate Fogelman, and Chris Davidson were the top 5. We will go down and talk to Bubba Pollard, who is now $20,000 richer here in the Keystone State at Jennerstown Speedway. What's next for Bubba Pollard and the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour? There's still a lot of racing to go. What have you got left to accomplish this year?
We just got to keep winning. That's it. That's the goal when we go to the racetrack, is win. And I got a team capable of winning each and every week, no matter where we go across the country. And that's what all these guys have built. I mean, they're the hard worker. They're the ones behind it. So I just can't thank all my sponsors enough. Harrison'sWorkwear.com for what he's done for me the last couple of years. Everyone get online, check him out. I've been a big supporter for our race team. I can't thank them enough. But Racing Radios, Ernest Performance Shocks, Race Car Engineering, PFC Brakes, 5-Star Bodies, HP Elite Racing Engines. What better racing engines out there than Jeff Hamner? They do a great job. So just everybody on the side of this car, Tilton, Strange Oval, TM Ranch, all those guys, just everybody that makes it a part so I can travel up and down the road to win these races is pretty cool.
Hey, we're calling up Race Series Director Danny Willard. We're hanging out here on the Race 22 Productions recording studio in Winston-Salem. This is the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour post-race recap. Danny, how you doing, buddy?
Great, Doc. Hope you're doing well.
Have you finally made it back from Pennsylvania? I know it's a long trip. Have you made it back finally?
Yeah, I made it back. I came back, left out Sunday morning, made it back Sunday afternoon.
And I know how racers are, whether you're on the track or part of the series, everybody's competitive. Did you make it back faster than you went up?
Yes, I did.
New track record for Danny
15
Willard.
minutes to the good on the way back, so the draft worked well.
I hear you, Danny. Well, big show for the Super Late Models up in Pennsylvania. Beautiful, beautiful facility. The inaugural Thomas Automotive American Freedom 300 in a co-sanctioned race with our series with the ARCA CRA Super Series at the Jennerstown Speedway Complex. And the track promoter, Billy Rebar, had that place looking phenomenal. Looked beautiful on the broadcast with Tony and his crew. But I want you to share your experience when you first got there. It's your first time being there, Danny. When you first walked in there and got your eyes on the racetrack, what were your thoughts?
I tell you, I've been wanting to go to Jennerstown for a long time. When we got there late Friday night, we walked in the gate, and, it was better than I thought it was going to be. The pictures don't do it justice. The track is really nice. Looked like it weathered well. I know it was shut down for like 6 years, something like that, but it weathered well. Everything was up to date. Really, really nice facility.
Oh, it did, and Tony and his crew did a fantastic broadcast. Tony had extra cameras everywhere. Had Andrew Hayen. He did the first race by himself, and then Andrew joined Tony in the. Andrew is the CRA series announcer, and he joined Tony in the tower for our portion of the race, and then had last year's track champion at Jennerstown, Teddy Gabala, I think is how you pronounce his last name, in the booth with him to help give a driver's point of view of Jennerstown. So that was really good insight on the broadcast, and had the old PRN at the track, Lenny Patecki, on pit road, giving some good insight and talking to the drivers and giving information about what was going on pit. So it was a really good, informative broadcast out there on the CarsTour.tv and PitRoad.tv. So a lot of folks got to watch that. I couldn't travel up there. It was my work weekend, so not only did I have to work the weekend, but I had to work the holiday. So somebody had to stay behind and save the world one call at a time. That's what I do. So let's jump into this. So first, Danny, being your first time there, as a company, this is the part of the company that was the old Pro Cup Series. And the last time they were there, it was 2008. The last winner there was Benny Gordon. And the track record there was a 18.770, also set by Benny Gordon. Was 2005, and that was set in September 2005, 100.117 miles per hour. And the series race there, first time there was 2001, and the last time they were there, 2008. And of course, as I said, that race was won by Benny Gordon. And Benny won the most there, 3 times. Jeff Agnew won a couple times. Marty Lindley, Shane Huffman. Listen to some of these names: Brian Ross, Bobby Gill, Clay Rogers, Johnny Rumley, Joe Gatta, Shelby Howard, Stacy Puryear. Also, 11 different drivers have won there through the years between 2001 2008. I don't think they raced there in 2007, I think. But good many years there running with the Pro Cup Series. So it's good as an entity to see this company go back to Jennerstown. So I know as a crew, Mr. McNally was excited to get, he's got a lot of roots up there in that area, so I know he was excited to get up there.
Yeah, he was. You can tell Jackie, as soon as I got there, he smiled from ear because he was basically home, and he'd been wanting to get up there, and this was a great opportunity to take the Cars Tour up there. What better way? $20,000 win super late model race. So that he came in with a bang.
Now, in that area, because I know super late models are real prevalent in the Midwest, and they kind of curve over towards that area, and then up in Maine. Now, on a weekly basis, do they run super late models or more of a pro late model?
If I'm understanding correctly, I may be wrong. I think they run more of a pro late model, I believe. I know, they've. I think the car count's been really good up there. I think they have something. The crowd's wonderful up there as always. I'd heard it was always pretty big, and it was big again Saturday night. And I'm pretty sure it's a pro late model. Maybe wrong on that deal. A couple of their locals ran with us as well this weekend. So, but I think I'm correct on that. Don't hold me to it, though, because I didn't go into detail as far as what they run up on a regular basis.
All right, I got you. We'll have to check into that. But beautiful facility, and looks like the fans really had a good time, and they looked very active, and I could hear them when Tony would address the crowd. You could hear them on the broadcast. They were very vocal, so that was exciting. I was real glad to see that. So let's jump right into it, Danny. Qualifying, they were wicked fast, as they say way up north. They were wicked fast up over there. Trevor Knowles had a bad fast car. Him and that 22 machine, 18.237 was the fast time at 103, 3 miles an hour faster than the Pro Cup cars. 103.043 miles an hour was the fast time. And, man, he was looking good. Those cars were fast. I think the entire field was right at a half a second. So, man, the whole entire field was fast, and there was, 24 cars that took time, or 23, 24 cars?
24. Yeah, we lost a couple, but, yeah, I think it was 24. I think that's correct.
Okay. All right. So, nothing major through practice, anything that, like that, or any instances of anybody having to go through the tech room 2 or 3 times? Anything you want to share with us about that? Any secrets?
I helped the series, on Friday. I was there, and I, was part of the tech team. I'm kind of like we talked about earlier, I think a couple broadcasts ago, we all kind of pitch in where needed, and I was a part of the tech team Friday, and tech went really, really well. I mean, we had a few that had to make a few little minor adjustments and such, but nothing really major. Everything went pretty smoothly Friday. The only, he's talking about drivers we lost. We lost Brian Campbell, which he was a heavy hitter. We lost him in practice. He had an engine failure, and he had to load up and go home. So I hate to see that because I was wanting to see how he stacked up against, the regular cars guys plus the guys he used to run against. And, Tyler Church. I hated that for Tyler Church. Tyler, he had some mechanical issues, and he didn't get to run with us as well, so I hated that.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I hated to hear that. Tyler, one of the good guys in the pits, running out of his pocket, as we saw at last time, the Supers were at Hickory. Probably had a pretty fast car, no doubt. And because he works hard. I know he works hard on that car, so I hate that he had trouble. So made it through practice, nothing major. Come qualifying, everybody gets through there, everybody's fast. And the pre-race was really good. I think Tony did a real good job on touching on the track's history, and then talked about, the nation's history and just a little bit, and did a real good job on the broadcast. And the fans really looked like they were having a good time. The CRA race was first. It was 300 total laps this past weekend up at Jennerstown Speedway Complex. The first 100 was the CRA Super Series. That was pretty interesting. Now, did you call that race as well?
No, their race director, Glenn Luckett, he called that.
Okay.
He's more familiar with the CRA rules. Not that they're a lot different than the cars rules, but there are, restart differences and stuff like that. So he called that race.
Yeah, we had 2 or 3 guys that were doing double duty during that event. We had Matt Craig, Steve Nass.
Nassy, he doubled up. Also Cody Coughlin, he was scheduled to double up, but he did not have any luck with his super late model. He did not start. He was the one car that qualified and did not start. He had some major issues. Struggled with that super late model the whole entire weekend.
Okay. Yeah, they put on a pretty good show. Those cars were pretty fast. That was a pretty entertaining race. So kudos to those guys for racing with us. That was a really good show. But so then off to our guys, man. It was really neat, really proud moment with all of our cars in the parade lap with the American flag going around, the Old Glory flying around the track with each flag with each car. That was quite a beautiful moment.
Yes, it was. That was a beautiful thing. I mean, it was well planned out. I mean, it looked really good. All the drivers riding around with those American flags hanging out their windows. We did have 2 parade laps, and that's a beautiful thing always.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, now you're getting ready to race. Big broadcast. Lots of attention there. You're at Jack's hometown. Any pressure on you? Any more than usual?
I mean, it was a $20,000 win super late model race. I mean, probably the biggest money race that I've ever had an opportunity to call. I mean, I've called a lot of big races before, but dollar amount, that was the biggest one. And a little bit of pressure, a little bit of pressure going into Saturday morning, for the crew chief meeting. But after we got started, everything went out the window. It was business as usual, and everything went very, very smoothly.
Yeah, well, good. And come down to the green flag. I think 10 states were represented in the feature, from Maine down to Florida, North Carolina, Texas, Iowa, Michigan, North Carolina, of course. Where else? Indiana.
I mean, there was
Ohio.
Yeah, a lot of great states represented. A lot of faces I haven't seen in a long time walking around too there as well. I mean,
Kentucky,
Mike Garvey,
Georgia,
Gary St. Amant.
Yeah, I heard that he was crewing one of the cars.
He was.
So it was good to hear that name again. Yeah, I hadn't talked with Gary in quite a while. One state was missing as far as the driver was concerned that I thought was kind of interesting was Pennsylvania. What do we need to do for next time? We need to get a Pennsylvania driver in the feature in the big show.
Yeah, we did have a local driver there. I don't know where the young man was from, the Francis young man.
He was from Ohio.
33 car. He was a local, but I don't know where he's from. But he was a local Jennerstown driver and represented them very well. I mean, I know he didn't get the outcome he wanted, but he did a great job.
Yeah, I think he said he was from Ohio, I think.
I think that's correct. Yeah, that was his hometown track. I think he's got at least one victory up there this year, and you could tell he's got a lot of laps there, and he represented them really well.
Yeah, we'll have to get with Tony, the guy that was in the booth, Teddy. Maybe if he's from that area, maybe we can get him in the Super next year. Work something out for him next time.
Yeah, that'll work. Bring him on. That'll be great.
That's right. All right. Right away, you had to make a call. Texas driver passing on the left side. Kind of explain what happened there. That had to have been, Tony Grinowitz?
Yeah, I believe that's correct. The 48 car, I addressed in the driver's meeting several times on how, you got to hold your line. These guys, they know that. And the initial start was a little bit slower than I would have liked to have seen, but it was a good start. And, we had someone throwing the green flag, a representative. I can't remember. I think it was a sponsorship deal,
right.
Thomas Automotive. And threw the green flag, and it was a little bit slower than usual, like I said. And there was a little bit of a bottleneck about midfield, but the 48 car, he decided to drop down, and he got a heck of a start, I guess you'd say, because he passed about 8 or 10 cars on the inside, which is a no-no, and unfortunately he had to come down and visit pit road.
Oh, goodness. Even though everybody started domino effect because of, bumping and going, what else could he have done?
Well, the way I look at it, there was a little bit of a bottleneck there, but he was the only one that fell out of the line and the only one that passed cars, so it could, you look at it like that, and you're like, man, if he'd have dropped down and act like, he was trying to miss something because of the bottleneck and held his position, hey, he wouldn't have got black flag. But, the rule is, you got to stay in line until you get start finish line.
Right. I got you. So instead of dropping down and pass about 15 cars.
Yeah, which he did.
I got you.
And,
okay.
He was changing gears and burning rubber when he come across the start finish line. Let's just put it that way. And, he was still getting it. And he didn't do any checking up at all. So, you're wrong.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, I hate it for him, but he was wrong.
I got you. Yeah, okay. Well, that makes sense. There you go. All right, Danny. All right, now they stay side by side for a while, and that's what a lot of guys were talking about. The track is flat for it's a little over half miles. What, 0.533 or something like that? Yeah,
it kind of gave me the size like of a Myrtle Beach. I mean, that's kind of how I looked at it. I mean, size-wise, it when you first get up there, it's hard to kind of tell how big it is when you first get there, but it's bigger than normal. Most of the tracks we run are 3/8 or half, and it's a little bit bigger, of course, and it was kind of refreshing to be on a track that size to let these guys open up a little bit.
And it's not it's got a true straightaways front and back. It's not D-shaped. It's a true oval, right?
Yeah, as far as I can tell. I didn't get to go riding around it. I wanted to. I didn't get a chance to walk around or ride around it. I just had a chance to look at it from the tower side and when I come through the back gate. But, yeah, it's pretty oval as far as I could tell.
Yeah, and Trevor and Tate Fogelman on the front row. Tate Fogelman actually led the first 10 laps. And,
yeah, Tate, it was great to see Tate again. I talked to Tate. I mean, he's been doing the truck deal, and I asked him how he liked that and everything, and he says it's real interesting being on a track in a truck, never made a lap on the place and going wide open in the corner, because of their new rules with NASCAR and the Truck Series. But, he represented really well and did a great job, like always, carrying on the Fogelman name.
There you go. And then Matt Craig, he led he took over the lead of around lap 11 to lap 29.
Mm-hmm.
And then right around then is when our friend Trevor Knowles
Yeah.
had some
lap
issue.
29.
Had a tire go down going into 3, I believe it was. And my goodness, did he shake the grounds when he hit that wall? I'm sure it felt like it did because he hit it a ton.
Yeah, he was, had a great car all day, qualified on the pole, went diving off into 3 and caught my eye. I was already looking at the front of the field, and he just hit the wall a ton, got up on 2 wheels, climbed the wall. I thought for a second there, I'm like, keep her in the ballpark there, buddy. And he did come off the wall, and the first thing, we got over, checked him out, and he was okay.
Yeah, he, Lenny talked to him right after that on the broadcast, and you could tell he was shaking up and limping a little bit. And the adrenaline's flowing, and you're angry and you're PO'd because you just tore up the fastest race car on the grounds. And of course, you're gonna say, "Yeah, I'm all right." I'm mad because the car got tore up. But the next morning, when the adrenaline's wore out, that's when you're sore. And so I waited.
That's when you're sore, yeah.
So I reached out to him, a day after to check on him, see how he's doing, and here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing better than I was Sunday morning, but that's the way it goes. Just can't thank everybody for checking in on me and wishing me well. But that was a pretty good hit. I took a pretty good hit a couple of years ago at Winchester. Actually had the same problem. A right front tire went down and hit the wall a ton, but I'm all right. I can fix the car. It can't really fix me, but I'll be back at Hickory in a couple of weeks, and looking forward to get back in with my Donnie Wilson guys. They have truly put a lot into this deal, and just can't thank everybody at Wilson Motorsports enough for giving me an incredible opportunity.
Now, when you spoke with Lenny after the incident, you said you felt like you had a run over something or a vibration going down the back straightaway. It went away so quick you didn't have opportunity to really diagnose it.
Yeah, I felt like it was going down maybe the lap before and just didn't really have enough of a clue to really, I guess, get it wound down enough to change a tire on it. But now that I look back at the video, I can tell a little bit in 1 and 2, maybe the lap before in 3 and 4 that I was getting a little bit tight. And felt like that's when Bubba got by me. Right there, but lap before, and just kind of was chaos from there. Trying to keep it off the wall as long as I could, and trying to brace for impact. That was the biggest thing. Is just trying to figure out what I'm gonna do next. And there's really not a whole lot you can do once you're going that fast and have that so much weight that you got to try to slow down. And there's just no point, nothing you can do but kind of hold the brake down as long as you can and kind of brace for impact.
Did you have your feet on the pedals when you had impact?
Yeah, that's probably what the case was. We got knee knockers in those cars to try to keep your knees from hitting the steering shafts, but so hard. And probably what happened, just slammed my knees against the steering shafts, probably what hurt my leg a little bit. But other than that, I'm all better now. I'm getting over it. Take some ibuprofen and I'll move on.
Once you made that heavy impact, was you sure you were on the track or out of the track once it stopped?
Well, I saw some cars rolling by, so I knew I was at least on the racetrack. I just didn't know how bad it was tore up.
But you really almost thought you went out of the track, though, didn't you?
That's 4 seconds. Now, there's four couple seconds. I thought I was going over the wall. It happened so quick. It just, luckily, the wall threw me back on the racetrack. I feel like it done its job, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And luckily, I looked back looking at the video, I didn't realize there was no fence and a big drop-off on the back stretch and then the turn 3 and 4. So luckily I didn't go over. That would have been bad.
You'd have been over at the folks with the fireworks.
That's right. I'd have been shooting fireworks off in the woods over there.
Yeah. Well, luckily with the safety innovations over the years, the head and neck restraints and things like that, definitely saved from serious injuries. I mean, you can attest to that after what you just went through.
Yeah, just everybody at Rowdy. Just can't thank them enough for building a safe race car. Everybody at the new Kenny's component seats, Hans devices, of course. Everything that they've improved on over the years. Just can't thank everybody from them people enough. Everybody at Simpson, helmets, stuff like that. Just I'm glad to be here. That's for sure.
So yeah, it's number one. Glad he's okay, and glad he's going to get to race again, and super glad he's going to be at Hickory August 1st. So, all right. After that, let's see. We take off again, and then do you think? Because everybody kind of saw, and the guys on radios, hey, is he okay? Is he okay? Do you think that kind of sends a message to the guys? You think they kind of pace themselves after something like that when they get a scare, when they see another driver that could be hurt or could be shaken up when somebody hits the wall hard? Do you think that kind of makes them worry about their own right front tire? Do you think that makes them settle into a groove for a little bit before they start getting aggressive again?
Well, back when I used to race, I mean, seeing stuff like that on track sometimes does kind of affect you a little bit, and you got to get back in your groove. But you got to remember you're a race car driver and what you're there for and everything. And if you're not gonna run it hard, you don't need to be racing. So I mean, maybe for a little while, some of them I know it affects different drivers different ways. Some of them, they just as soon as they go back green, they're wide open. I know, and but it could affect some of them, but they're all race car drivers, so after they get going and the blood starts pumping again, and we get a few laps under our belts, I'm pretty sure all of them are okay.
Matt Craig, he chose the bottom, I think. Yeah, no, he chose the outside on that restart. Pollard was on the inside.
Yeah, it was a good restart. A lot, I got to give the guys a lot of credit. There was a lot of good restarts. I mean, the guys really, really did a great job. All the guys that had the luck of being on the front row for the restarts, they all did a really good job. On that particular one, it was a good restart, but Bubba, he did take the lead.
All right, then from there, a couple of drivers just kind of took over the point, and that being Chris Davidson, who really had a good showing. Chris Davidson from Friendswood, Texas, the other Texas driver, he didn't get penalized. And Bubba,
right. Yep.
Bubba Pollard and Davidson would lead again later on, and then he would take over the lead from Bubba Pollard from Chris Davidson to go on to win. But Tate Fogelman, Matt Craig, Chris Davidson, Bubba Pollard were your four leaders throughout the event. But we're hanging out here at the Race 22 Productions recording studio in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We're having fun with the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour post-race recap with Series Race Director Danny Willard. Danny, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy afternoon to play on the phone with us a little bit here. Always a good time talking with you, Danny. Everybody will look at the finish and say, well, Bubba Pollard, done took their money again. No, he had to earn it. It wasn't a typical Bubba Pollard romping like we've seen before, like last year at Southern National or something of that nature. But he had to earn it, and he knows he had to earn it because he went there to race a racetrack. When any interview that I listened to, or in the post-race interview, he talked about the bump on the track, and I think it was turn 3 or something like that, in the middle of turn 3. That's all he worked about. That's all he talked about. That's what he had to work about. When Tony talked with him. In the post race, that's what he said. If I got good over that bump, and that's where we can keep our speed, then he knew that's when he had something. That's what he focused on. He didn't worry about racing the track or anybody else, and and that's the difference. That's the experience. But back through the field, man, how about young Sammy Smith and Jake Garcia? We talked about him first time we saw him at Hickory. I was very impressed with him, and did he not impress again? Tate Fogelman, so glad to see him. He comes back and does real good. So Chris Davidson's good to see a new name racing with us. Corey Heim off a hot run with late model stocks, come back to super late models, looking real good. So Matt Craig, showed strong earlier, but ended up finishing 8th. So A lot of good racing back through the field. Was there anything that stood out to you that kind of caught your attention through the course of the race? I'm sure, Steve Nassy, he didn't really have the race that he was really hoping to. I figured he'd be a front runner before it's over with.
Yeah, I did too. Nassy, he struggled. I don't know where they struggled at. I mean, they kind of really never, from what I heard, they never really hit it over the weekend. So he really just, never got it to his liking, and so he really wasn't in contention there, unfortunately, for that team, which they have a great race team, don't get me wrong, the Nolan race team there, Jet. But going back to Chris Davison, the 14, he had a really good car. I mean, it jumped up to the lead there, come flying up through there, and I thought he was going to have something for him there until, we had 3 controlled yellows. Mm-hmm. And so everybody kind of could lay out their own strategy, on how they wanted to do it. They could get 2 new tires, move 2 tires around, or put fuel in the car and not jack it up and make adjustments while it's on the ground. They had one of those 3 options, and that's all they could do with the controlled yellows. And, we talked about that at the drivers' meeting, and all the teams did a great job, but everybody could kind of lay out their own strategies and everything on when they wanted to put those 2 tires on, put the other 2 tires on, or move 2 tires around. It was an 8 sticker tire race, and they started on the 4 they qualified on, and then they had 4 spares, 4 stickers there, and that's what we went with. And so it put it in their hands, to determine how they wanted to do that. And the way it played out, all 3 controlled yellows that we had, the entire field come down pit road for each of them. So nobody decided to stay on the track, and nobody decided to gamble. They all kind of just went with what the leader was doing. And,
right.
And that's the way it played out. It didn't have anybody that got brave or anything and tried anything off the path. So, that's the way it worked out. And the way it worked out is Bubba made, I guess, the best decisions, and, he prevailed.
For this race, there was a new terminology thrown into the twist, controlled yellow. And that's different from a competition caution. And that would come into the play, especially late. So explain to us the difference between a competition caution and a controlled yellow.
Well, competition caution, we have those every race, and the way they work is 40 consecutive laps without a caution. We'll have a competition yellow, and it will not happen in the last 25 laps of the race. For some races, we have controlled yellows, controlled cautions, however how you want to say that. The way that is the tower will control that caution, and I will come on the radio when the caution comes out, and I will say it's a controlled caution. And long story short, the pace car controls the time, the amount of time they can stay in the pits. When I open the pits, the teams have the option to come down the pits or stay on the track. And the cars that come down the pits, they have 3 laps with a pace car doing pace car speed, which at Jennerstown we established to be 25 mile an hour. And they had 3 laps. Once those 3 laps was up, when the pace car come back around, the cars had to be, moving, and they could not still be in their pit stop. They had to be done with their pit stop. They had to be rolling on the track, and then they get their position back behind the cars that, decided to stay on the track. If you didn't get rolling in time, you were penalized and you went to the tail end of the field. So, but at Jennerstown, they made it pretty easy for us because the entire field, we had 3 competition yellows, and the entire field came down each and every time. So there weren't any cars to go behind. So the deal was, take care of your business, get rolling, before the pace car completed its 3rd lap, and you got your position back. So, that worked out really well, but that's how that works. The control, that's the first race I've called with the control cautions. We addressed in drivers' meeting, you pretty much got to, lay out how you're going to do it and structure it. It may change next year. I mean, it can change race to race because in the rule book, it's kind of, it just depends on how you want to do it. As long as everybody's on the same page and understands what you're doing, the this particular race, I laid it out in the driver's meet. We weren't going to have any controlled yellows till after lap 50, and then once we had a controlled yellow, we had to run 25 laps before we could have another controlled yellow, and we wouldn't have any controlled yellows or competition cautions, of course, in the last 25 laps of the race.
Yeah.
So we laid it all out at the driver's meeting. All the teams, they knew exactly how we were going to do it, and everything went very, very smoothly. There was no confusion, and everybody worked with us. And like I said, they made it real easy because they all come down pit road, and when we opened up the pits 3 times for the controlled yellows, and worked out really well.
Do you think it might have been because they didn't really understand it, so they said, well, I'm just going to do what the leader does?
No, I think they understood it because I think it could have been either way. I know exactly what you're saying there. Hey, he's the leader, he's coming in, we got to come in.
Yeah.
And that's kind of part of the game. Nobody took the risk. Nobody wanted to stay out or anything and take a chance. And the way it all played out, they were going to make, they're going to, have 3 of them at least, competition yellows, and that's what we had. We had the opportunity for one more there at the end, but it just didn't work out, exactly like I guess someone was hoping maybe it would.
Yeah. Because there for a while. You talk about at the beginning, at the drop of the green flag, you had to penalize the 48 car for passing. The way he was really pressuring to be passed as he went a lap down throughout the race, I thought we was going to have several cautions. Man, he was really tough on the leaders as he was going past. Did you have to get on him through the course of the race?
Yeah, we had an issue with the 48 car. His day started off terrible. He kind of, with the penalty there on the initial start, he was having a bad day. I don't know. I don't drive his race car. I don't know if he was having, ill handling issues with his car or what. But long story short, he was in the way, and he got in the way of the leaders a couple of times. So I did have to come on the radio and, tell him, hey, you got a choice. It either stops right now, I'm going to park you. And it got better, but it could have been ugly.
Yeah, he was really making it really tough for the leaders to get around him. It's almost like he was sending a message to someone. I'm not sure who it was. So, but anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was going to win that battle. Trust me, and it almost happened. He almost got parked, but unfortunately it cleared up, and he made it to the end of the race.
Yeah, and then we go into the race, and then get down to the stretch. 27 to go. Jeff Batten slowed dramatically on the racetrack, and then made it to turn 4, and he's dead in the water. So that really drew some interesting situation for you to make the call. How did that play out?
Well, the last yellow we had, control caution, was lap 149. So the opportunity for the next one was going to be lap 174. And the caution happened on 173. So, I'm a man of my word. I was going by what I said in the driver's meeting. I couldn't change it. Wasn't going to change it because I said we had to run 25 laps after each one. And so I didn't open the pits, and we pushed the 49 car Batten in. I don't know what his issue was. He did get going again, but, didn't open the pits, because it was lap 173, and we went back racing.
There you go. And once we got going away, Pollard chose the top. He said the top was the preferred groove once the rubber got laid down and things got going. Tony said the fastest lap of the race was 25 to go, I think Pollard did. So kind of showed how he had focused on his race car. But with 13 to go, Jeff Batten would become a player again, as he and Pollard almost made contact, if they did make contact in turn 1. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw Bubba coming up on the 49 Batten. I knew Jeff was having a bad day, and I don't know exactly what happened. There was a little bit of contact right there, and I did have to come on the radio, and address that situation with the 49 car because he was a lap car and the 26 car Pollard was the leader. And I don't know what happened, but he did get out of the way after they made the contact. I don't know if the 49 car come down or Bubba come up because it did happen on the straightaway past the start-finish line. And from the tower, I couldn't really tell who did what. Bubba came in a hurry. The 49 might have checked up a little bit more than he maybe should have on the straightaway. I'm not sure exactly, but they did have a little bit of contact. And, fortunately, it did affect the 26 car enough to take him out of the race. But I did hear after the race from someone that said it did mess the handling up just a little bit on the 26 car because of that contact. So that could have been ugly.
Oh, goodness. Luckily, it was only, 13 to go when that happened. So if that happened earlier, man, that could have been ugly. So just wonder if it was any words exchanged between Bubba and any of those guys. So hopefully there wasn't, and everybody can move on and race another day. So and I guess the rest is history, as they say, because Bubba did go on to victory lane.
Yeah, he did. And as far as I know, I don't think there was any comments after the race. Everything was pretty calm. Everybody acted like they was pretty content with how the race went. Everybody can't win. Bubba won the race. He did a great job. Congratulations to the 26 team. But, you got to, there's a lot of heavy hitters there, a lot of great race car drivers. So we could do it again next weekend, and it could be totally different. You know how that goes.
Absolutely. Bubba Pollard, of course, your winner out of Georgia. Tony caught up with him in victory lane and said the difference basically was how they focused on shocks.
Man, I tell you, the difference in winning this weekend was having Brand Ernst here to get what I needed to drive over that bump in 3. And there's a little bump over there, almost getting in the middle of 3 and 4 right there that we needed to be better. And that's I feel like that's where we could drive the car hard, get over the bump there, and we just worked on shocks pretty much since we got here. So I can't thank them enough and all their hard work. But, yeah, it's a fun race. Man, I enjoyed this place. First time ever being here. Racy place, move around. I like it. Hopefully we can come back and try it again. So thanks for the fans for coming out on the 4th of July. I know it's a holiday, but we're glad you're at the racetrack.
And then finishing second out of Iowa, young man Sammy Smith. Lenny Patecki caught up with him in the post-race.
Yeah, we were close. We just didn't have the fire-off speed like we needed. I felt like we were about the same. He might have been a little better on us in the long run, but I felt like if we had a little better fire-off speed, we might have had a chance. But good job to them. I just can't thank my team, TMC, Communication Data Link, Sinclair Tractor, Toyota, KBM, all my guys for all the hard work.
To go to that plateau, the last restart, there side by side, to dive inside of Pollard there, now can you replay it with maybe next time you in front?
Yeah, the top side was just the preferred groove on the start. You pick up so much on the caution laps on your tires, and then you just be tight for the first 3 laps. But once we got going, we were pretty decent, just needed fire-off speed.
Finishing third, very impressive young man out of Georgia with a very good team, Jake Garcia.
You kept moving forward there at the end of the race. How many more laps until you would have been right there with the 26?
I don't know. It's tough to say, really, just because these cars change so much. But I just got to thank the crew and everybody that came today. Had some fans in the stands, so I got to thank them for coming out to support me.
What could you have asked more from your car, your crew, yourself to be able to improve 1 or 2 more spots?
Well, I was just a little bit tight there at the end of the race, but not really much we could have done there. But just a phenomenal job by all the guys. I got to thank them, and Arrow Creek Investments, Willwood Brakes, they all did a great job. So I got to thank those guys.
And rounding out the top 10, finishing fourth, Tate Fogelman. Chris Davidson did finish fifth. Sixth with Corey Heim. Mike Hopkins finished 7th. Matt Craig finished 8th. Josh Brock finished 9th. And Albert Francis, the local hot shoe there out of Paynesville, Ohio, did finish 10th. But he had a good showing there. Looked really good in our big feature there, the Thomas Automotive American Freedom 300 for the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour post-race recap. The points came out this afternoon. Matt Craig held on to the top spot. He was 8 points ahead of Trevor. Trevor was in second, but poor old Trevor, with that crash, he drops to 6th. But now Matt Craig is 5 points ahead of Bubba Pollard. Bubba Pollard jumps up 3 spots to the number 2 spot. So now that spot for the lead tightens up to 5 points between Matt Craig and Bubba Pollard. Carson Quapple stays in 3rd. Now there's a tie for 3rd with Sammy Smith, who jumps up 3 spots. Cody Connor drops 1 spot. He is officially in 5th. Trevor Knowles drops 4 spots to 6th. Hudson Halder, he stays in the 7th spot. Jeff Batten is 8th. He stays in 8th spot. Jake Garcia, from where he fell into place after the first race, he jumps up 6 spots to the 9th spot, already in the top 10, Danny. So how about Jake Garcia looking real good in just his second race with the Cars Tour. And Mike Hopkins jumps up 4 spot to the 10th spot, and that's your top 10 in points after 3 races for the Solid Rock Carriers Tour Super Late Models. And what do you think, Danny? How about some of these guys that are jumping up and falling back? Pretty competitive. Top 10 only separated by 40 points, man.
Yeah, very, very competitive. Super late models are competitive wherever, the race at, don't get me wrong. But, yeah, there's a lot of swapping around going on. I mean, it's still kind of wide open right now. It's early. We got only 3 races in. And you was talking about Jay Garcia. I had to, I got to talk to him at the Sheets up there after the race. He and his family, what a nice family there. I mean, really, really seems like a really leveled young man, and look forward to seeing what the future holds for him, because I think he's got a lot more to offer.
Yeah, and Bubba Pollard even spoke about him very highly in Victory Lane there. So he's got the eye of a lot of veterans already on how respectful he is, talking with them, and how he approaches the racing in whole, and how he races on the racetrack. So he's kind of like I described a young Matt DiBenedetto and a Ryan Repko. Just mature beyond their years, and that Jake Garcia seems to fit that mold as well. So I'm excited to see these young guys that are coming up like that and very mature behind the wheel of a race car. So that's very exciting. Well, Danny, for more information and full field rundown and full rundown of the points, be sure to check out carsracingtour.com. Well, Danny, next on the docket, as it sets right now, is the Hickory Motor Speedway coming up August 1st. It's a dual event. It's the would have been the throwback race, and I've been cultivating my pork chops all year long. Everybody said, "Why you keep wearing?" I said, "I'm telling you, it's for a reason. Just bear with me." And now that we can't do, it's not going to be able to do the throwback. So I don't know if I'm gonna keep them. I'm gonna chop them off or what until next year. So who knows? It's not going to be the throwback. It's just going to be a regular race. And as far as the press release said, they're not going to run the same amount of laps as the throwback. It's going to be 125 laps for late model and super late models, as per the press release that came out after the Jennerstown race. So 125 laps for the late models, 125 laps for the super late models at the Hickory Motor Speedway. Coming up August 1st. So we hope to see everybody there. And Danny, is anything else you need to add?
No, I mean, again, I'd just like to say how nice Jennerstown Speedway was. And thanks for all the fans coming up there. I met a lot of great people up there. They were talking to us before the race, after the race, excited about us being there, excited about us coming back. My first visit to Pennsylvania, and first time to Jennerstown, of course, and it was a great experience. And I look forward to returning, and looking forward to Hickory coming up here August 1st.
No, absolutely. I'd love Hickory. It's kind of special place for me. Always will be. And had an opportunity to talk with Kevin just the other day. He's up there seeing a friend of mine shake his race car down, and so I had an opportunity to chat with Kevin, and I just hope we can get some fans in there. So right now it's questionable. So be sure and keep your eyes on carsracingtour.com and the Cars Tour Facebook and all the social media. Jacqueline Drake does a fantastic job of all the social media. So if there's any changes or any additions or anything that needs to be done, she will be on top of it on the social media, and she will keep you informed. So be sure and check out, keep your eyes on all the social media that has anything to do with the Cars Tour. She will have you informed instantly. So we appreciate everybody checking us out each week and getting a rundown of some of the scenes behind the scenes for the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour on the post recap each week with the race series director, with my buddy Danny Willard.
We looking forward to the next one, and until next time.
All right, until next time, we'll see you at the races.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.